It's 2:14 a.m. The house is quiet. The streets are empty. Your phone is on the nightstand, dark. But you're wide awake. You're staring at the ceiling, and your chest feels tight. It's that familiar, heavy pressure, like someone parked a car on your rib cage. Why are you awake? You're doing math. You're mentally calculating the dates. The mortgage is due on the 1st. The car insurance hits on the 4th. Payday isn't until the 7th. You run the numbers again. If you delay the electric bill, if you eat pasta for 3 days, maybe you won't overdraft. Maybe. This is the 2 a.m. test. And right now, millions of people are failing it. I know that feeling. It is visceral. It is the physiological response of a hunted animal. When you wake up in a cold sweat doing mental arithmetic, your body is telling you that you are in danger. You're living in survival mode. Now, I want you to imagine a different 2 a.m. Same room. Same ceiling fan. But this time, your phone buzzes on the nightstand. You roll over, groggy, and check the notification. It's a notification from your bank. $1,000 has just been deposited into your account. Here is the key. You didn't work today. In fact, you were asleep when it happened. You didn't trade hours for it. You didn't have to smile at a boss you hate to get it. It just arrived. And you know, with absolute certainty, that next month, another one is coming. And the month after that. How does that night's sleep feel compared to the first one? That feeling, that loosening of the chest, that sudden ability to breathe deep, that is what we are talking about today. We aren't talking about buying yachts. We aren't talking about becoming a billionaire. We are talking about the psychological circuit breaker. We are talking about the $1,000 rule, the single most important financial milestone you will ever cross. It is the specific point where you cross the anxiety threshold, where your brain finally switches from fear to opportunity. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you're drowning in bills, stop worrying about becoming a millionaire. That goal is too big, and it's too far away. We need to focus on something else. We need to get you that first $1,000. The personal finance industry has lied to you. They have obsessed you with a metric that, for your daily survival, is almost meaningless. They tell you to focus on net worth. Track your net worth. Grow your net worth. Here is the brutal truth. You cannot eat net worth. You cannot pay the electric bill with unrealized gains in your 401k. You cannot swipe a debit card at the grocery store and pay with home equity. I want to introduce you to a very common, very miserable person. Let's call him House Poor Harry. Harry is technically a millionaire. He has an $800,000 house that he's mostly paid off. He has $300,000 locked away in a retirement account he can't touch for 20 years. His net worth is over $1 million. But look at his checking account. He has $400, and his water heater just broke. Is Harry free? No. Harry is terrified. Harry is stuck in a job he hates because he has zero liquidity. He is asset rich, but he is cash poor. This brings us to a fundamental law of financial physics. Cash flow is oxygen. Net worth is just potential energy. You can die of suffocation while sitting on a pile of potential energy. And that is what anxiety is. Financial anxiety doesn't come from a lack of assets. It comes from a lack of oxygen. Let's look at the neuroscience. When your cash flow is negative or barely breaking even, you're living below the anxiety threshold. Below this line, your brain is dominated by the amygdala, the reptilian brain. This is the part of you designed for immediate survival. Fight or flight. It asks simple questions. Can I eat today? Will I be safe tonight? When the reptilian brain is in charge, you are biologically incapable of making good long-term decisions. Scared money makes bad decisions. Think about it. When you're broke, you take the first job offer you get, even if the pay is low, because you need cash now. You stay in toxic relationships because you can't afford to move out. You ignore health issues because you can't afford the copay, leading to bigger problems later. You're trapped in a cycle of reactivity. You're playing defense. To win, we have to switch your brain into growth mode. We have to get you to the place where the reptilian brain goes to sleep, and the prefrontal cortex, the strategist, wakes up. That switch doesn't happen at $1 million. It happens at $1,000 a month. I can hear the skeptics. $1,000 a month? That's it? That's poverty wages. That won't buy a Lamborghini. That won't buy a mansion. Correct? It won't buy luxury. But it buys something far more valuable. It buys your survival. Let's break down what $1,000 of passive income, money that comes in whether you work or not, actually covers in the average American budget. $350. Groceries. That's basic nutrition for one person. $150. Utilities. Lights, water, heat. $100. Internet and phone. Connection to the world. $150. Gas or transport. $250. A chunk of rent or property tax. When you have $1,000 coming in passively, you know that no matter what happens, if you get fired, if the economy crashes, if you get sick, you will not starve. You will not freeze. You will be connected. This is the survival floor. And once you build this floor, you become a different person. Let me give you a real scenario. Imagine you are in a meeting with your boss. They are being unreasonable. They are demanding you work the weekend again, or they're denying you a raise you deserve. Scenario A. You have $0 in passive income and $500 in the bank. What do? You swallow your pride. You say, "Yes, boss." You shrink. You're terrified of losing the paycheck because that paycheck is the only thing between you and homelessness. Scenario B. You have $1,000 a month coming in from dividends or interest or a side business. It covers your food and your lights. You aren't rich, but you know you won't die without this job. What do you do now? You sit up straighter. You look them in the eye. You say, "I can't do this weekend, and we need to discuss my compensation." You negotiate harder. Why? Because you have a floor beneath you. You are willing to walk away. And in negotiation, the person most willing to walk away always holds the power. This is what I mean when I say you become dangerous. Dangerous in a good way. When your survival is covered, you stop making fear-based decisions and start making optimization-based decisions. You can take 3 months to find the right job instead of the first job. You can test that business idea because if it fails, you still eat. You enter a confidence cascade. One bold move leads to another, and it all starts with that first $1,000. Now, we have to talk about the danger zone, because getting to $1,000 a month is hard, but keeping it is harder. The moment you hit this milestone, your brain will try to trick you. It will say, "Hey, we have an extra $1,000 a month. We're rich. Let's get the BMW. Let's upgrade the apartment to the one with the granite countertops." This is the lifestyle sprint, and it is the financial equivalent of suicide. Let me explain this using the golden goose analogy. You've heard it, but you haven't done the math on it. Your passive income is the golden egg, the capital, the money or asset. Producing that income is the golden goose. If you take that $1,000 egg and you use it to make a lease payment on a luxury car, you're doing 2 things. 1. You're eating the egg. 2. You're teaching your brain that the purpose of wealth is to look rich, not to be free. Let's look at the math. To generate $1,000 a month reliably, let's say at a 4% withdrawal rate or yield, you generally need about $300,000 in invested assets. Read that again. That $1,000 monthly stream is worth $300,000 in capital. If you commit that $1,000 income to a car lease, you are effectively taking a $300,000 asset and setting it on fire for the privilege of driving a slightly nicer metal box to a job you hate. I saw this happen to a friend. He built up a small rental portfolio. It finally started cash flowing $1,200 a month. He felt rich. What did he do? He moved into a luxury high-rise downtown. The rent difference ate up exactly $1,200. 6 months later, the economy turned. His tenants stopped paying, but his luxury lease was still due. He went from financially free back to panic attack at 2 a.m. in record time. Do not eat the goose because you are hungry right now. The lifestyle sprint feels good for a month, and then you adapt, and you're back on the treadmill. But this time, the treadmill is faster. So, what is the correct move? What do you do when that first $1,000 hits your account? You do not spend it. You do not touch it. You treat it as if it doesn't exist. You reinvest 100% of it. This is the snowball effect. And this is where the exponential curve begins. Let's look at the progression. Let's say you worked hard and built an asset that pays you $1,000 a month. Year 1, you take that $12,000 of passive income and you buy more assets. You aren't just saving your salary anymore. Your money is now funding your freedom. Year 2, because you reinvested, your passive income isn't $1,000 anymore. Maybe it's $1,100 or $1,200. Plus, you're still adding your savings from your job. Year 5. Suddenly, that passive stream is $3,000 a month. Now your rent is covered. Your car is covered. Your food is covered. This is the entry fee to the game where real wealth gets built. Until you hit this point, you're pushing a boulder uphill. It is grueling. It is exhausting. Every step requires massive effort. But the moment you hit the $1,000 mark and reinvest it, you reach the crest of the hill. The boulder starts rolling down the other side. Gravity, compound interest, starts working for you instead of against you. The person who spends that $1,000 stays at the bottom of the hill forever. The person who reinvests it becomes unstoppable. I want you to stop. Stop looking at Instagram. Stop looking at people with millions of dollars and feeling like a failure because you aren't there yet. Stop obsessing over the end game. If you're standing at the bottom of Mount Everest, looking at the summit will only make you dizzy. Look at your feet. I am challenging you to focus entirely on one goal. The first $1,000, not $1 million in net worth. Just $1,000 a month in cash flow. This is your validation milestone. Getting here is the hardest thing you will do in finance. The first $1,000 is harder than the next $10,000. Why? Because you have to build the machine from scratch. You have to sacrifice. You have to say no to things you want. But once you hit it, even just once, you prove the concept. You prove to your skeptical brain that the system works. Once you see that money hit your account while you sleep, something clicks. You realize, this is real. I can scale this. So, here is your homework. Forget the 10-year plan. What is the plan for the next 12 to 24 months? How do you get that first trickle of oxygen? Maybe it's dividend stocks. Maybe it's a rental property. Maybe it's a digital product. Maybe it's a vending machine route. The vehicle matters less than the destination. Cross the anxiety threshold. Get to the point where your survival is automated. When you wake up at 2 a.m., I don't want you doing math. I want you to roll over, see that notification, smile, and go back to sleep. Because cash flow is oxygen, and it's time for you to breathe.